What's up, YouTube? So today I actually got a couple announcements before I get into the video. So the first announcement is one, this video specifically is going to be me ranking my favorite 10 horror icons. But after this, it's going to be a little bit more of a turn in what I'm doing. I'm going to be posting a lot of horror news at least twice throughout the week. And the reason I've kind of been doing these type of videos is because there hasn't been a lot going on. But there's a lot of upcoming movies I'm looking forward to going to see and reviewing. And then two, I made a TikTok for the first time, and it's under the same name as this channel, Jay Loves Movies. And basically what I do over there is just kind of promote this channel, but I'm trying to figure out some different things I want to do over there to kind of make it like differentiate it from what I do on YouTube over there, but still promote people to come over here and watch these videos. But like I say, yeah. This video today is ranking my top 10 favorite horror icons. It's not okay. So the slashers or the characters themselves, they don't have to necessarily be ranked due to their movies. It's just basically solely on them. You know what I'm saying? So before I start my top 10, I'm gonna do honorable mentions because I love so many characters, and all of these characters, to be honest with you, except like. Well, no, honestly, yeah, all of them, they're pretty neck and neck. Like the bottom few, I would say maybe not as close, but like the top five, I love all those characters so much. So for honorable mentions, I got one, Jigsaw. I didn't throw him in this list because, you know, a lot of people associate Jigsaw with Billy the Puppet, and he's not really, like, Jigsaw's an interesting character, like John Kramer is. But I don't really take him like as like an actual like opposing threat, like if I was to see him on the streets or stuff like that. But I love Billy the Puppet, and I love the Saw movies. Those are actually on the agenda for movies I'm going to be tackling within like later September before October. So honorable mention number 2, I got Annie Wilkes from Misery. Now I'm not sure how many people have actually read the novel of Misery, but that bitch is 10 times crazier in that movie or in the book compared to the movie. And if you've seen the movie, you know that bitch is fucking wild. But in the book, man, yeah. But the reason she don't really crack my top 10 is just because I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when I look for like characters have to have like an appeal, like a visual appeal to me. I have to think they look cool. I have to think they're like, you know, super dark, or you know, they have to have certain different things that kind of separate them from other people if they're not going to be that kind of character to make me like them. Annie Wilkes is a good character, psycho as fuck, but she just don't crack the top 10. But I felt like she was an honorable mention because if you've seen the movie or read the book, you know how she gets. And then it does hurt to say that this didn't make my top 10, but Candyman, because if you watched my top 5 favorite horror movies, Candyman's on there. I think it's a brilliant movie. I think it's one of a kind. I really think it was like one of the original type, like Get Out type of movies, because Get Out was its own thing when it came out. Very original, but I feel like Candyman was the first type of movie like that. So, yeah, without saying too much else, coming in at number 10, we got Pennywise. And I am not going to lie, I'm not really sure like if I'm in the minority of my age group or not, because I know a lot of older people agree with me. But Tim Curry is my favorite Pennywise. You got a lot of people that think Bill Skarsgård is the best Pennywise, which I will sit there and agree with you that I think both of those movies, even though the second one is not nearly as good as the first one, I think those movies are better than the original TV series. But, I mean, I don't think it's like as scary. Like Tim Curry is absolutely terrifying. Like if you would have, if say it was like roles reversed, right? Say Tim Curry was the one that was in the Bill Skarsgård movies by Andy Muschietti. That shit would have probably been even scarier. You know what I'm saying? Like movies don't really scare me, but there can be like intense scenes, kind of like in It 2017 when he's crawling out of that like freezer thing. I thought that was good, like high intensity, but I feel like Tim Curry, for the role he played, he stole the show, the original one. Coming in at number 9, I actually think this will be kind of a controversy amongst a lot of people because a lot of people think this character is funny, iconic, very iconic for sure. I love him. He's right here. It's Chucky, but I don't think that I don't know. I like I said, all these characters, I love them so much. It's not like I'm like dogging any one of them or putting any one of them down just because they're ranked lower than the next. Like I love the character of Chucky, but then I also look at it like, you know, in the first movie, you don't really get to see Chucky be him until like the second half. Child's Play 2, amazing. But then when I watch like his portrayals throughout the rest of the movies and the way he acts and stuff, it's just like I don't know. He just kind of loses my focus. It's kind of the same problem I have with Freddy, which is on this list obviously as well. It's just like as the character develops, they become more comical, whimsical than they do scary. You know what I mean? Which I said the movies don't necessarily have to do with these characters, but these characters develop with the movie. So if I'm not talking specifically on the movie, like this character still developed and became this at one point. Like if you look at the general basis of who they have became and what they've said and done over, you know, it's just like that's kind of what I'm ranking it off of. And don't get me wrong, I love Chucky. I think Chucky's hilarious, but I just like characters that are more dark and grim. You know what I'm saying? Coming at number 8, I'm actually not sure how many people would rank this character in their top, 10, let alone 8. Just because, like, very underutilized in its movies. Not necessarily. It's Hannibal Lecter, okay? I know everybody loves Silence of the Lambs. Okay, I do know that. But if after that, you got Hannibal, you got Red Dragon. Yes, Hannibal Lecter is very more centric in the sequels, but like the main one, Silence of the Lambs, he's more of a background character. That's why I say like I'm not sure how many people actually like put him that high. But even Hannibal Rising, like I'm not a big fan of that, but I just think the character Hannibal Lecter, so cool, man, like so cool. And the dynamic of like Clarice Starling going and talking to him, like he's such a psychopath that he can figure out what the other psychopath's thinking because it was his patient. Like, I don't know. There's something about Anthony Hopkins in that character that is just, it's perfect. Like, I don't think, that's why I don't like Hannibal Rising, because I don't think anybody can play the character of Hannibal Lecter the same way he does. Coming at number 7. Now, number 7 and number 6, they were neck and neck, but yeah, but number 7 is what it is because Pinhead, I love Pinhead, don't get me wrong. And like I keep saying, I'm not really factoring the movies in that much, but Pinhead isn't even the star of his movies, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have much to go off of the character, or as much as I do as the rest of these characters. I think Pinhead being the Hell Priest, being the, figure for torture, that shit is badass. I literally have a lament configuration. I don't have enough to really say he's better than certain characters, though. Like, he looks cool. Doug Bradley, I love Doug Bradley's portrayal. I can't remember who the one from 2022 was. It might have been like Jamie something. I don't know. I like that portrayal too, but I always associate Pinhead with Doug Bradley. But I don't have too much to really go off of. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people really consider Hellraiser to be a cult classic, not even like a mainstream horror movie, which, I can see that, but Pinhead is such a, like, wasted character in my opinion. I really think that character is so badass. But coming at number 6, these characters are kind of similar. I got Freddy Krueger at 6. Now, I know this is kind of controversial as well because a lot of people think Freddy Krueger is, badass, which he is. And that's why I keep trying to explain, like, I love all these characters very, very closely. Like, I literally have an Elm Street sign right there. I'm just saying, like, Freddy Krueger gets too goofy for me at times, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel scared. I'm sure if I was in that fucking scenario, oh, hell yeah, I'd be terrified. But when you're watching Freddy and he's just, like, making, like, jokes, it's just, like, it loses tension for me, you know what I mean? Maybe, like, when Freddy in 1984, I honestly think Freddy was the scariest in the second Nightmare on Elm Street, right? But even if you go to 1984, the jokes he cracks, they're not like really jokes. They're jokes to him because he's dark and like wicked. But he starts to down the line start trying to appeal to audiences more, and it's just like I don't like that as much. Robert Englund, great as the character. You know, we don't really talk about the remake too much, but I don't know. I've always liked Freddy a lot as a character. It's just I don't know what it is. He just doesn't exceed these next characters I have. So I got Ghostface in at number 5, which if you watched my videos, you know Scream is my favorite horror movie of all time. But the reason Ghostface is at number 5 is because, like, let's be real. Even if you watch Scream 2 and you see the amount of clumsiness that Ghostface just portrays in that movie, like Ghostface is a very clumsy character, and it's meant to be that way because it's supposed to be like, what if you knew somebody that was just in a regular group of people were a killer? You know, they probably, you know, there's no guarantee they'd be super athletic. There's no guarantee that, you know, they're going to fall, they're going to trip, they're going to get hit, all that stuff. Like, that's why Ghostface comes in at number 5. I don't really have too much else to say about that because I feel like it makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like, I love the costume. And one thing I love about the original Scream is that's one of the only horror movies to actually take a Halloween costume that was officially licensed to a company, ask them if they can buy that, and then they, you know, misconfigured it slightly. I just think that's super cool, you know. But like I said, Ghostface is not anywhere intimidating as these next 4 I have. The next 4 I have, I don't even think I could survive if I had fucking AK-47 on me. Number 4, I got Art the Clown. And I love Terrifier, man. I really do. A lot of people, you know, I understand they have their opinions on, like, oh, it's just torture porn, or, oh, it's just people getting chopped up. There's no story. Which, I mean, you can say that for the first one. But if you watch the first 2 as a double feature, which is like fucking damn near 4 hours long, so I understand, but not a lot of people have done that. It makes so much sense if you watch the first 2 back to back. The third one's kind of a standalone movie once you kind of have an idea of. If you watch either the first or second one, you already know the third one. There's minor plot details that you would like miss out on, but if you watch the first 2 back to back, you would understand what I'm saying. Like it makes a lot of sense. Art the Clown is a psycho, you know what I mean? And in the first one, how he kills himself, he was supposed to be like Damien Leone. He is confirmed that was a human being serial killer that killed himself. But he was so evil. The second one, when he comes back in the morgue, an evil demonic spirit like took over. You know what I'm saying? That's why you get the little pale girl, excuse me, that was the real guy's first victim. You know what I'm saying? And Victoria was his last victim. That's why she was the demon in the third one. So I think Art the Clown has a lot of like lore that has been is about to be explained in the 4th movie that finished wrapping recently, which makes me sad. But I'm also glad that the franchise isn't trying to like oversaturate itself. Like, I'm glad that Damien Leone knows that, like, yes, he created a horror icon. Yes, you know, people love it. But he's not trying to make 8, 9, 10 movies and oversaturate the character. Like, he's trying to preserve the greatness of Art the Clown, which is what I think is what Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street should have done. Because for years, you just had boom, 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 movie, and not a lot of them were great. You know, like, people love the characters, but I love all 3 Terrifier movies. I know not everybody does, but if you finish with 4 movies and it finishes strong, I think that's a win. You know, especially with the indie cult vibe that the franchise has. Because think about it, the second one was made on a $250,000 fan-made budget. Like, the fans literally paid for that to be made, and the first one was made on $50,000. So it's like, if you make 4 movies and they end up all being good to certain people like me, I mean, that's a win. And if you're that creative, you can make Art the Clown. You know, maybe he's excited because he's got other slasher characters he's trying to turn into icons, you know. Or, like he's expressed, he wants to work on a Friday the 13th or a Nightmare on Elm Street. That would be amazing, you know. So, Art the Clown, love the character. Love the fact that we have a new horror icon. Number 4. Now, number 3, I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit more brief because I don't have much to say about Leatherface. Other than, like, what I love about Leatherface is not only was he one of the first horror icons. He is not like, he's a bad guy, yes, and I hate how certain like movies later down the line try to make him like an anti-hero. He's a bad guy. He's a psychopath. You know, he's special. He lives with his family that are pieces of shit. He'll, you know, he's big. He'll kill people. He'll do whatever. But in the first movie, he's sitting there crying, you know? And he changes his appearance so often because he's, like, just confused. I think that that makes a good psychopathic character. And, I mean, if you want to talk about, like, the 2003 movie, that Leatherface, he's just kind of vengeful, you know? If you want to look at the original Leatherface and the remake Leatherface, this one's lost and confused. This one's mad and vengeful because all these people were mean to him. Like, I just think the character is so cool because he's not by himself and he doesn't always make his own decisions. Like, he'll go on and do something crazy, but he doesn't always make his own decisions to go ahead and do that. Like, he'll be guided to do something and he'll do it without hesitation because of his family, and I think that's brilliant. But coming at number 2, I got Jason Voorhees. Now, I think that Jason Voorhees is an amazing character. I think that him being like a mama's boy almost hits me deeper because my mom is my fucking favorite person in this world. And it's like, I understand him. If you know what I'm saying? Like the way he acts over what's happened to him, I almost damn near understand it to a degree. Like, I mean, that's a joke to a degree, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I think Jason, though, has a couple different, like, derivatives of his character. Now, like, if you go and look at, like, regular Jason when he's a kid, you know, from the first one, which, I mean, you damn near wouldn't even include that. And then you look at Sackhead Jason, and then you look at Jason when he first gets his mask, right? Which would be 2, Sackhead, 3, 4 would be mask. And then you get 6 on, you get zombie Jason. You know what I mean? So, I mean, with Jason, you get so much different character development and so many different kills throughout the franchise that, like, I just think that he is probably the strongest slasher villain, probably hardest to beat killer there is out there. And if anybody tries to sit there and tell me they don't think Jason Voorhees don't look badass, they're bullshitting. Like, there's no way you can't tell me Jason Voorhees ain't cool as shit. There's literally, like, the movies are not the best, but everybody loves Friday the 13th. They're a horror fan to a degree. I'm not going to sit there and say everybody and categorize it like that, but everybody I know. And it's not really because of the stories half the time, you know? Like, the Friday the 13th that do have stories are great. Like, part 4, or 2, 4, 6 are really the best stories to me, right? But everybody loves Jason. Everybody loves to watch, you know, Jason go and act crazy, act a fool, you know, even if it is comical sometimes. Like, that's what you get out of it. It's enjoyment. And I just really think Jason is he would be my favorite if it wasn't for Michael Myers being at number 1. And Michael Myers to me is you know, he's not, and I'm going off like 1978 Michael Myers, right? He's not the biggest guy. He's not the scariest looking guy. It's just what he does that makes him intimidating, you know? Like, when you're just, you know, you got people sitting, I know you know that feeling of where you're sitting there and you're like, you feel like somebody's watching you, or you feel like that eeriness over you. That's what Michael Myers delivers. You know, he's just there. He's the shape. He's evil. He's just pure evil. It could be your neighbor. It could be your friend. Hell, if you're a girl, it could be your little brother, because that was what Michael Myers did. You know what I'm saying? I just think Michael Myers is such a one-of-a-kind character that a lot of movies that I love so much have been inspired by it. I mean, look at it. I mean, Scream, dude. Like, Scream gets away with using the Halloween score twice in that movie. And it's so inspired. Scream is so inspired by Halloween because of how great and how much of a lightning in a bottle that movie was. You know what I'm saying? Michael Myers is my favorite Halloween, or my favorite slasher. And, like, when it comes to Halloween time, I know that that's what everybody associates first, is Michael Myers, you know? You know, if you think about scary movies, people might think about something else. But Halloween is, like, Michael Myers and Halloween is such a staple for the, like, holiday that every single time when I was a kid, I would come home from school and it would be, like, a day before Halloween or the day of. My mom would always have AMC Fear Fest on, and I'm watching Halloween, whatever. Like, usually, I mean, I don't know why. It was usually 4, 5, 6. and then H2O. But I literally loved when I was a kid coming home and watching the Halloween movies, right? When I was a kid, I bought my first Michael Myers mask and I treated that thing like it was my first car. Like, I love Michael Myers so much, and I don't think that there's a better icon or will ever be a better icon than Michael Myers, because even down to like the pale white face mask, right? The reason I think the white mask is so intimidating is because it's blank. So you make your own mind up on how this character feels, looks, and it visualizes life. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is literally pure evil, like Loomis says, the blackest eyes, you know, the darkest eyes, you know? And I feel like there's been a lot of movies and characters inspired by Michael Myers. So that's me ranking my favorite 10 horror icons. Like I said, this channel's about to get a lot more of an agenda built. Like, I got news videos coming up. I got September planned out. October is going to be my biggest month of the year. So I just appreciate everybody stopping by, and thank you for spending time with me today. We got big things coming.